What is up, guys? It's Brillymister here and welcome to today's video. If you do enjoy the video, then don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment and subscribe, and hit all the links up down below to Twitch and Discord. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome to the Kree'arra or Armadyl part of my Loot from 10 Hours series. I was going to do this one a little bit further down the line, but with Ancient Invention and everybody wanting Armadyl on components to get the new precise perks, this seemed like a really good time to do it because the Armadyl prices were quite high at the moment. So I've done it now, and we'll go into my loot, kind of gear I used to do it because I did it quite AFK, and then I'll break it all down and compare it to other bosses and the GP rates that I've got from them throughout the series that I've done so far. Hope you guys will enjoy the video. So if anyone was interested in the gear I was using to do this, I had, well, this is my preset, so I had a Steel Titan with some scrolls obviously, note paper to note all of the random drops, Excalibur and a couple of sharks for emergency healing, although I don't think I ever had to eat any of the sharks. I did use Excalibur a little bit, and I did it pretty much all on the penance aura just to make prayer not really a problem and make it even easier. Then when we get onto the armour, I've got a right mismatch of armour here, which pretty much shows you can do it almost with everything. If you guys would be interested in it, I could do a guide on how to AFK this, because it's a very easy title to be able to get and everything if you do AFK it and chill, because it is very AFK. So you can either use Armadyl armour, or I already had my Slayer gear of Animakora Zamarok. It doesn't have any particularly useful perks for Armadyl on, but you know, it did the trick. It was range armour. Blood Amulet Fury is quite nice because it just heals you a little bit and it's a decent amulet. I didn't want to use Ruby Bolt, the Criminal Bolts or anything like that because I'd put the cost up, so I literally just used standard Ascension Bolts, Cinderbane Gloves, Ring of Vigour because I've got that relic from Archaeology that allows me to have tier 4 luck all the time, so I thought I might as well use the Ring of Vigour just so my Death Swiftness left me with a bit of adrenaline. Doesn't really make much difference, but if you don't have the relic, then I would definitely recommend you use a luck ring. And then obviously I have my Eldritch Crossbow. I mean, a Nox bow or even down to Chaotix or a Zabrite bow is probably going to be pretty easy to do here. I just use the Eldritch because I dismantled my Nox bow for Biting 4 when Relics and everything, all that Archaeology stuff came out. So I don't have a Nox bow anymore, so a Nox bow or any kind of tier 80 or above bow will make this very, very simple and very easy. So in my inventory here, I've got the whole loot from the 10 hours. There were a couple of things, like I've used a few of the Dwarfweed seeds whilst on my farm runs, only about 15 of them though, but they're not worth anything, it's not going to change the overall value. And I was fairly AFKing it, like I was playing my Iron Man and just kind of AFKing Armadyl, because it really is that chill, which is quite nice. Yeah, I got a pretty good loot from it really, to be honest. There were 3 hours where I didn't get any like rare Armadyl drop, which I don't think is particularly unlucky. Over 10 hours, 3 out of 10. Most of the hours I got a drop, and there were a couple of the hours. There was 1 hour in particular where I got like 4 drops, and like Armadyl confirmed 20 mil GP per hour. Unfortunately, it's not like that every hour, but at the moment, I think it's due to basically the Ancient Invention, everything is like 9.2 mil. Like it's all very good money. There's like 8.9 mil, even the boots and stuff like 3.2. Yeah, it's all is worth a lot of money, so I'm actually pretty hopeful for what this price check is going to be. I haven't actually price checked it yet. In my coin patch here, I've got all of the money that I've done from it. I obviously paid the 200k instance fees out of it as well, apart from the very first hour where obviously I had nothing in the coin pouch, so I had to take 200k with me. Yeah, so that's all from just coin drops from the kill count and actually in Kree'arra as well as I used the spring cleaner, so any of the rune salvage drops all got alked down and chucked into the coin pouch. It just made it easier than picking it all up. So if I withdraw all that from the coin pouch, and we can now price check it all. So just from the Armadyl items, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a good price check. Unfortunately, I got very unlucky with the pieces I got. I mean, imagine if I'd got, instead of 4 boots, I got 4 chest plates. That'd have been 40 mil rather than 12 mil. But then I can't really complain because that is a decent chunk there. 60 mil in 10 hours. That's 6 mil an hour in money made just from those drops, which is pretty good. And then if I include all the other drops, the herbs and the potions especially at the moment are worth a good chunk, because double XP weekend's coming up. I mean, nearly 30k per super range potion. Like, that's pretty incredible really when you think about it. So in total I got 75 mil in like raw loot from the 10 hours, which is absolutely awesome. And I'm going to chuck these in the GE quickly now. I am here at the GE. I thought I'd come to the Menethos GE. It's one of the underutilized ones. I think it's a cool looking area, so I came here. So I'm going to chuck them in the GE now, and we'll see if I can actually sell them for more than their GE price, or if they insta sell above it, because I actually think that some of them probably will, so I might be able to increase the money even more. So I'm going to go sell them now, and if I do sell them for more, I will give you an updated amount here. If not, then I will see you in the breakdown slides next. So now getting into the breakdown, we can get a little bit more into sort of the stats and everything that I've got this, and I pulled this all from Rune Metrics on the actual Runescape website. So in the 10 hours, I got 518 kills, which is 51.8 kills an hour, which, I mean, if you were actually paying attention and like try-harding and stuff like that, I'm sure you can make that so much higher. Like, my average kills were like 30 to 40 seconds, which is, it's not by any means great, but you know, I had the respawn speed set on the fastest. I'm sure you could get a much higher kill rate if you really tried, which would obviously push the loot and the GP per hour up a lot. So in my time there, I got 75.34 mil GP. All the stuff kind of just sold for GE price, nothing went above GE price. I was really hoping that a few of the things were going to go for a little bit over GE price, but it all pretty much went for GE price. So that makes it down to being 7.53 mil an hour in pure loot. However, that's not the full story with the profit. The loot per kill works out at an average of 145k per kill, which is actually surprisingly good considering that most of the drops there are pretty trash. Like, it's just the potions, a couple of alkaballs which your spring cleaner will deal with, and the herbs and the nests. Other than that, it's all junk, and even those drops are not really that great. Like the grimy dwarf weeds and the range potions just managed to be over 100k. Everything else is like 10 to 20k. It's really not great, the rest of the drops. So it shows you how much the rare drops do bring your average loot up. The one thing for it is those rare drops are pretty consistent, because like I've been going back there even since, just because I really want to finish off my collection. I still haven't got a buckler. I've done nearly 3k kills and I've still not got a buckler. And my drop rate of them is still consistent pretty much. I'm still getting 1 to 2 drops an hour average, which is, it's pretty good, 51 kills an hour. I'm guessing I'm going to have some dry hours coming up. So I would like to say that I feel I got fairly lucky, but not too lucky with the drops I got in this. And even if you got a little bit less lucky with drops, if you got a bit luckier with higher value drops, you could probably get a fairly similar amount. Unfortunately though, the fact that all these drops are worth a lot at the moment also comes at the cost that the costs are a bit higher at the moment. Divine charges at the point of filming this video were 131k each, which is pretty brutal if I'm honest. Like, if I did this again, I'd probably just go in unaugmented, just plain armadyl armor, like not even bother with perks, because the perks I had on my armor is not very helpful, and that would reduce the costs quite significantly. You've also got to include that it's a 200k an hour straight up cost for going into the room, or like making an instance. You can do it not in an instance and save the 200k, but you're going in with a lot slower spawn speed, and you're going to make the 200k back just by being on the faster spawn speed. And then you've got to include some of the less expensive stuff, sort of like the springs and your magic note paper, and your overloads and stuff, but that is quite a minimal cost. The main costs here are the divine charges and the actual instance costs, which takes 1.2 mil out of your profit per hour. It still leaves it as a pretty good profit of 6.3 mil an hour, which is definitely not to be sniffed at for something that's almost completely AFK. I also got 5 effigies and averaged between 4 and 500k range XP an hour, which is pretty good really for what it is. So now we're getting on to the comparison with other bosses and PVM stuff that I've done loot from 10 hours of. And as you can see, there's 9 of them on here now. 90 hours I've been doing loot from 10 hour videos from, which is pretty awesome. And I'm actually getting a nice sort of list now of stuff, although some of them were quite a while ago, so their GP rates probably have changed and stuff now. So as you can see, it's quite good in the fact that it beats QBD and Corp, although I think QBD is probably going to be more GP per hour now thanks to the herbs it drops, and especially the brews. The price of brews has gone up a lot.
Same with Vindicta. Like, obviously I got very unlucky that I didn't get a single drop, but Vindicta now, if you do get a drop, like Lance is like nearly 50 mil now, and even a Crest like 40 mil, so I think those sort of bosses are probably going to be a lot better GP now than I got when I did them. And again, with my elite dungeons, like, got no crossbow piece at ED3, so the GP was worse than if I'd just done first floor farming. And ED2, I got no codex, but I mean 5.5 mil an hour profit's actually not too bad, really, considering without a codex, like, especially if you got the chance of getting the codex. And then at the other end of the scale, you can see the ones that I got very, very lucky at, like Magister, finished the Kopesh very quickly, obviously took a lot of cost of keys out. And then next I got pretty lucky with Torva pieces though, even though that would potentially even be more money now if you got lucky again, because Torva plates are like over 100 mil at the moment, and they were like 60 or 70 mil when I did the loot from video there. Can't remember exactly, but they were less. However, Kree'arra coming in at 6.3 mil profit per hour is actually very competitive. Like, apart from Hellweir, Nex and Magister, that beats everything else I've done so far, which is pretty crazy considering it is like a 13-year-old God Wars Dungeon 1 boss, which is like completely AFKable. So, I mean, I'd have to say I really do recommend Kree'arra at the moment. Like, the money there is worthwhile as well as the XP. But that's kind of how it compares to all of the other bosses that I've done so far. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy and found this video interesting. If you did enjoy, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you're notified of all my future content. And there's links to the Discord and my Twitch channel in the description down below. See ya!